Well, it may sound like something that's very easy to do, but asking for help can be incredibly tough for some people. Being self-sufficient and strong is fine, but taking it too far can be harmful to yourself and the people you care about. Motivational speaker and author Scott Wimberly is here to talk with us about learning how to ask for help. Scott, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
You too.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this problem. Where does this problem come from? It seems that I often hear about men having difficulty asking for help. Is that true?
Yeah, well, that's true. Men, we have that image, especially here, I think in the South, especially, that we are, like you said, self-sufficient. We take care of it ourselves, and we do end up doing more harm than good when we don't reach out to one another. And that's what we're here for. Nobody, no man's an island, as the saying goes, the book was written. But we have, whether it's a pride issue or on the other end of the spectrum, a low self-esteem issue, we don't feel like anybody cares enough to help us, or we're too good to ask anybody. Both of them, really still all stem from that pride that we have, that ego. Men don't have pride, they have ego, I guess they say. But, the first step, is simply just to reach out. And I believe that there are people purposely in your life to help you. Now, whether they know it right now, I don't, may not, because you hadn't asked. But I believe, my belief is that God puts two people in our lives. One is our spouse, of course. But I believe He also puts someone, for men and women, but for men, another man, and for the women, another woman that they can talk to. And because if you have three friends that you can name and know that they're there, you're doing good. People have a lot of acquaintances. Right. But I know in my life there's three people, my wife being one, and there's two other men that I can turn to, and I don't have to talk to them every day. Right. But it's that same, when you do start talking to them, you pick up right where you left off. But they hold me accountable, that pour into me, whether you want to call it mentoring or life coaching or whatever, counseling, doesn't matter what you call it. But it's someone that you are willing to reach out to, because whether it's good things, you want to be able to celebrate. You want to celebrate the good times and then have someone to walk with you during the tough times. Because you have both. You're going to have both the good and bad days. But when someone's there with you, the bad days aren't quite as bad, and the good days are a little bit better.
Talk to us a little bit about knowing when you need help. When is the point of pride and ego reached and self-destruction starts to ensue after that? How do you know when you're in the danger zone?
I think in my case it was when everybody else knew it but me, or I knew it but I didn't think anybody else did. I got this thing under control, nobody knows. And then when I did finally say something, there was like, it's about time. Because you can't keep secrets like that, especially a man. We wear our feelings usually, and people know that. But again, we have that issue that we don't want to open up and be transparent. And I believe that once we learn to do that, and we don't have to tell everybody everything, like I said, one or two, we keep it in a small group, but when you become open and transparent, there's no secrets, no more skeletons in the closet. It's all out there, because we've all made the same mistakes, just in different areas. But it's still the same thing, when you categorize them. And we've all done it. Everybody's made mistakes. And to try to weight more on some and others. And for me, I've said before, I've never made a mistake, but I've made some insane, horrendous choices. Okay? I never got up and said, I'm going to make a mistake today.
There you go.
But I have made some wrong and bad choices. But once you get that out there and kind of admit your faults, and everybody else knows your weaknesses. If you don't believe it, just ask somebody. They'll tell you.
There you go. Scott, we're out of time. Really quickly, though, I would like for the folks at home to know, give us some examples of things that people have problems asking help with.
Well, we give addictions, and there's hundreds of addictions out there. But I believe even with that, the self-esteem, just knowing who you are. Because people don't know.
Gotcha. All right, Scott, good stuff as always. Thanks a bunch. You can find out more about Scott, his books, and following the roadmap to your destiny online at scottwimberly.com.